Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to look to the rest of the games for Week 13 in the NFL. The Thanksgiving games are in the books, as is Black Friday. And of course, now we've got to look to the Sunday night, and Monday games. And Sunday night might have some snow, apparently, so that's exciting. I know the 49ers love to play in the snow, I bet. But to help me break down the games with the best bets of the week is Andrew Erickson, the Undertaker, and Terrell Furman Jr. Gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's time to get back to work. And don't forget, everybody, if you're going to get back to work, make sure you download the BettingPros app and sync your sportsbooks for free. Don't forget, you also get the 3 free days of premium at the top there, so you can see the best tools in the business to help you win all that cash. Let's begin here where we always like to. Tomlin as an underdog. Mike Tomlin as an underdog is Terrell Furman's favorite thing, I think, in the world. What do you love more? Let's see, a good Thanksgiving side, like a really good mac and cheese, a really good stuffing, or a Mike Tomlin underdog? What's your favorite thing, Terrell?
Oh, this is easy. It's the Mike Tomlin underdog because that's going to cash, and then I can go get me, with that money, some sides. So I have the best of both worlds. Like, it's really, really easy there. Come on now. I mean, shout out to Jameis for being so lucky to get the positive spot of playing Mike Tomlin as a favorite, because that was the only chance that the Browns had. And guess what? They got it done. And now we come back and get them as a dog against this Bengals team that, I mean, they're looking at that 7th loss and they're like, ooh, guys, I know we said we're going to make it still, but we're running out of real estate here. And I think that for a lot of teams, this is either a spot where they can kind of get up. You know, we remember but Aaron Rodgers and the RELAX, and they went and but what happens more often than not? These teams just lay down and it's just over. It's a bad season. Coaches get fired, people get blamed, and that's what I think is going to be at the end of this Bengals season. Like, I think that it's going to be a travesty of the season. I don't think that the second half of the season is going to go well with them. They caught the Steelers in a horrible spot where TJ Watt's coming off a bad game. I think he's going to get active around Joe Burrow. And how do you beat Joe Burrow? By getting pressure to him, constantly keeping him on his back, not letting him get comfortable in the pocket. I think the Steelers have the defense that is made where they can give this Bengals offense some real problems here. So I think the Steelers ugly up this game. +3 is way too many.
Erickson, when we were talking about the look ahead, we were like, is this wrong? Like, are we seeing this correctly? It feels like the Steelers should be favored. They've got the extra rest. The flukiness of the weather certainly had a big impact. Now, we did see a lot more Justin Fields too. Maybe that was because of the weather, but you also have to look at some of the inefficiencies in the red zone that Russell Wilson's had some issues with since taking over. And I think that's starting to rear its ugly head. That being said, it does feel like the Steelers side of this game is the right side to be on, and you agree.
Yeah, I want the Steelers with the points. It's funny, Mike Tomlin, he wakes up, he's like, yes, we're road underdogs. We can win this game. Like, that's how he's feeling.
Not even, but to him, they're favorites. Like, exactly. Whenever they're a dog, to him, like, just, hey, whenever you see Steelers plus anything, just think of it as, oh, they're favored. I should actually take this play because this is the spot you want to get them in. This is amazing, Erickson. It's so fun. This is a holiday.
Yes, it is a very enjoyable week of holiday goodness. And yeah, back in Mike Tomlin as a road underdog. Look, the Bengals have been terrible at home this year. They haven't covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 home games, 1-4 straight up at home this year. So I don't think there's really any home field advantage for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that's kind of where you're seeing this 3-point line come from. Oh, well, the Bengals are playing at home. Well, they're not good at home. They're not good overall. They still don't have a defense. And I think that this is just the market holding on to the preseason narratives in the Bengals offense. And, they'll turn it around. They'll run the table, kind of like Furman said. It's like, and we did the same thing. The market was doing the same thing with the Jets. Oh, they'll figure it out. And they were favored week after week after week. And then they just kept losing games every single time. And yes, I don't think that the Bengals are as much of a dysfunction as the Jets, but I mean, they're one of the other teams that the Patriots beat this year, right? Like, that's how you know you're a dysfunctional team, when you lose to Joe and I and our Patriots. So give me the Steelers +3. Again, I got plenty of Bengals futures, so if I'm wrong, I'll be happy with it. But right now, I'm going to hedge my bets and take the Steelers.
Joe Burrow to lead the league in passing touchdowns is actually still in play, believe it or not, for how bad this team is.
Well, I mean, look, Joe Burrow has been okay, at least from a fantasy
perspective.
His fault. It's not his fault. I can't blame Joe Burrow. Speaking of our Patriots, let's get to that game next. Patriots and Colts. This one's going to be in New England. And because of the shortened holiday week, Best bets today is also not just games like we usually do, the three of us, but also some props too. And Terrell, you've got a prop on Drake Maye, which is a prop that we've been in on a lot, and it's the rushing yardage total. And it's 26.5 this week, and it's the over. Why do you think it's going to go over this weekend?
Because he has the matchup. I think he has a really good matchup going up against the Indianapolis Colts. First of all, I think this is going to be a get-up game for the Patriots overall because guess what? Oh, it's back. It's back. The biting kneecaps trend of teams playing the Lions and then not covering the next week. I mean, this is a test. This is a trend that has stood the test of time thus far. And nonetheless, I like it here. I like it the fact that how do they win? So if I think that the Patriots are in this game, it's just that Drake Maye is just going to be a baller. And I think that he actually shows a lot of promise. Like, I think him and Bo Nix actually are very comparable in how they play on the season. It's just the fact that Bo Nix has Sean Payton and Drake Maye doesn't. And that's really it. Like, if Sean Payton had Drake Maye, I think Drake Maye would look like Bo Nix right now. And so what do rookie quarterbacks do when they're feeling the pressure, they're feeling everything coming down on them on their team and everything they do, and they're mobile? They run. Run. Look at what the Colts have done against running quarterbacks this season, and they actually kind of struggle. They've given up this prop to Josh Allen. They almost gave it up to Snoop Huntley, believe it or not. Gave it up to Justin Fields, and they gave it up to Kyler Murray as well. So running quarterbacks really haven't had that really big fortitude against this team. I'm sorry, not Kyler Murray. That was Malik Willis. They gave it to Malik Willis, believe it or not. So they're not good against the rushing quarterback. They gave up 2 touchdowns to Kyler Murray, and they also gave up a touchdown to Josh Allen. I think that a touchdown is in play. I think you take the rushing yards and you ladder them up because he's going to be running for his life. And whenever he can't make a decision with the football, he's just going to take off. And I think that's what he's going to do, and that's what's going to win them the game because he continues to keep drives going. So I'm really all in on the Patriots today, but I think it's because of Drake Maye. So I took Drake Maye props.
All right, let's get to the game itself. The over-under for this game is 42.5. Undertaker, where do you want to live on this one?
Well, I'm going to this game. So
That's
I'm
right.
I'm not going to be sitting. I'm not going to be sitting in the stands hoping that nobody scores. That's the worst way I could potentially have an enjoyable Sunday afternoon. So I'm taking the over in this game because that's one thing that I have seen with this Patriots team that I don't think that the books have still caught up on. This Patriots defense is so bad. It is horrible. Patriots at home this year, 4-1 towards the over. Drake Maye, his 3 home starts, 3-0 towards the over. They have one good player on defense. His name is Christian Gonzalez. Christian Barmore, also a good player, but he's still coming back from his blood clot injury, so I don't think he's at 100%. Gonzalez will go on Michael Pittman, and then it's going to be a freestyle between Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, making big plays down the field, Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson. Joe, how many Cam Newton highlights do we need to rewatch in our heads to know that this Patriots defense traditionally has never been able to stop mobile quarterbacks? One of the last Patriots games I went to was because, again, they also play a lot of man coverage, so that really feeds into mobile quarterbacks getting loose against this defense. One of the games I went to a couple years ago was a Monday night game against the Bears. Justin Fields was the star. Patriots are a massive home favorites.
Yeah, I remember
they got destroyed.
I thought you was going to talk about the Cam Newton game.
I mean, that game, I think it was at that game too.
No,
so,
the Fields one is, well, maybe you shouldn't go this weekend. Like, I'm just saying, maybe.
I mean, hey.
And it's another Russian quarterback with Anthony Richardson. Why do you go to these games?
Why do you choose these games? Why don't you pick these games as the games to go to?
I don't care if they win. I want them to lose, but I want to have fun.
Oh, we want them to
fun
lose.
Watching the game. Yeah. And again, they'll still cover the spread like Terrell said because of the Honolulu flu. So, yeah, we'll be happy at the end of the day. It'll be a fun game even if they end up losing. So, but for me, I'm going to go with the over. What is it at?
42.5.
42.5? Yeah, over. Easy.
There you go. All right, another fun thing is our Discord, bettingpros.com/chat. So if you're looking to up your game, go join for free, bettingpros.com/chat. That's our Discord. And if you join our community, you get extra picks there from Matt Peralt. You also get some spectacular insights to a lot of wagering too. It's a really cool community of people. So make sure you go out there and join that. And don't forget, you can also make your picks count, not just your bets, but just picks. Even if gambling is not available or sports wagering in your current state, that's okay. If you download the Betting Pros app and you go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest, or just go to the NFL contest on the community tab on the app, you can go ahead and sync your picks, use the quick pick feature on the Betting Pros app, and you get a chance to win weekly and monthly prizes. And last time I checked, a new month is starting in December. So this is the time to get in on that. So again, bettingpros.com/NFL contest to make your picks count. Terrell, let's make another pick count here. The Chargers are going against one of your favorite teams, the Atlanta Falcons. What could go wrong? And the Atlanta Falcons are at home, coming off a bye, and it looks like the Chargers are not going to have J.K. Dobbins dealing with a knee issue. So I don't know if that changes the dynamic of your thought process, or are you just Chargers all day, no matter what, against the Falcons?
Yeah, it actually did change the dynamic of my thought process, and I meant to change this on our sheet. But nonetheless, I don't think the Falcons are a legit team. I think that the fall is about to come. I think that the Bucs are going to find themselves somehow, some way leading the division at the end of the year. And unfortunately, the Chargers offense just gives me so much cause for concern because they have so many people that just can't catch the ball. And Quentin Johnston, you just I understand you're an NFL talent and you are one of the top football players in the world. Yes, you are. But compared to your peers, you suck. And I really just need you to catch the ball. Like I really, really need you to catch the ball. You're great. You're an amazing player compared to the rest of the world. But compared to your peers, you're not there, man. And nonetheless, give me the Falcons team total under 23.5. Because I don't think they're going to be able to score. I don't think they're going to be able to put up points. By the way, the only time that teams have scored on this Chargers team was the last 2 weeks when they played the Ravens, who have MVP leader Lamar Jackson, and the Bengals, who have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, who's leading the league in pass touchdowns. So I think that this is a good spot for a bounce back for the Chargers to step up defensively. Slight concern for the rest advantage that the Falcons have here. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Falcons really actually do anything good on offense. They just kind of nickel and dime their way through these games and figure it out and then somehow fall out with the win. And so if they even surprise me and get a win here against the Chargers, I don't think they're putting up 24 points to do so. I think it's going to be an ugly game and where the Chargers can't score and they somehow, some way lose a nasty kind of 17-14, 20-17 type of game like they did against the Cardinals. So, yeah, give me Falcons. Team total under 23.5. Regardless of what happens, I don't think they get over this.
I think the one thing that did happen was the Justin Herbert post-game press conference last week where he just took the burden. Is like, well, I got to throw better balls and this and that. And you know what? That's what leadership looks like from the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers should take a page out of Justin Herbert's book and some other quarterbacks in this league too. That's what it looks like. That's what leadership looks like. He knows that Quentin Johnston failed. Everybody knows. Everybody with eyes knows. But what leadership does is you don't let those guys just get dogged out there. You go in front and you say, hey, we're all responsible. We win as a team. We lose as a team. All that platitude and cliche nonsense, guess what? It goes a long way in that locker room. That's what you're looking for in leadership. And I love that you saw that out of Justin Herbert because I think sometimes we get a sense that Herbert is a little bit of a, kind of vanilla personality. I like that. I like that a lot. And I don't know if that's maybe some hardball stuff rubbing off on him a little bit, but whatever it was, I really liked it. And that bodes well for him in the future.
Hashtag red line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all right, let's get to your next pick here. Number 3 for you, Andrew Erickson.
By the way, love this pick.
Oh, yeah. So let's set it up here. Jacksonville Jaguars at home. 4.5 point underdogs. Houston Texans continue to struggle. I gotta say, this was one that I was kind of looking at too. Do I believe in the Jaguars enough for an upset? I don't know, but you're in on the 5 and you're getting that number on BettingPros. Again, this is why you shop the lines on BP on the app. So let's talk about this one. What do you see here where you're a little worried about the Texans? And then again, in one of these division games where we've seen this year, these in-division games get real freaky.
Well, the Texans just can't cover the spread as favorites. They are just one of the most overrated teams since the beginning of last year. Basically, once CJ Stroud kind of got into the spotlight, it's just been too much attention on them, and they've been overrated ever since. They failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 13 games as favorites. So for me, it's looking at, divisional matchup. They're playing on the road. We already saw this matchup play out this season, and the Jaguars covered. They covered the 6-point spread. They lost by 4 points, but that was a 4-point game heading into the fourth quarter. And when you look at that specific matchup, it took, I believe, I'm looking at my notes here. So basically, the game went in the first half. They scored on 3 of their first 4 drives, and then they punted 5 straight times in the second half before scoring. They needed a game-winning touchdown to beat the Jaguars at home. So now I'm getting points with Jacksonville at home again. This is under the presumption that Trevor Lawrence is playing. He's practicing this week, so I'm assuming that he's going to... I'm not doing the Mac Jones thing anymore. I'm not doing that. But if it is Trevor Lawrence under center... I feel confident about him covering this spread. I mean, honestly, as I was writing up this game, I opened, okay, Texas is probably going to win this game, but I think the Jaguars covered. And then as I dove more into it, I'm like, dude, Jacksonville can win this game. I just said the Texans have so many problems up and down. I get that they have a good defense, but their offense is just a mess right now. And yeah, I get the Jaguars defense isn't good, but they're playing at home, and the Jaguars 7-2 against the spread as home underdogs. Like, they've been a team when you're looking at just the trends. Do you want to back the Texans as road favorites or the Jaguars as home underdogs? It's home underdogs for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I will say, though, I have to bring this to the table because Furman mentioned it. The Honolulu flu is still in play here for the Jaguars, unfortunately, which I didn't actually think about because it has even gone over bye weeks. We look at the Dallas Cowboys when they played the Lions, they had a bye week and they got destroyed the next week too.
Oh my God, what?
So
no, it survives bye weeks?
Yes.
Dear Lord. Man.
So that is just something to keep in mind, but yes, other than that, everything else checks out for the Jaguars to cover the spread at home.
So the reason I didn't get on this, and it's because it's just a flowchart game. The Jags haven't beat the Texans at home since 2017. There's a lot of bad Texans teams from 2017 till now. They haven't beaten them at home since 2017. That's the only reason I couldn't get there on this play, but love the play.
Yeah, and look, we're recording this before the holiday, just so you know, in case anything changes with the quarterback situation, you can pivot accordingly. Terrell, your next pick is my lock of the week, and you're still getting plus money on it, and I love it. The way you attack the Ravens is through the air, and that Ravens-Eagles matchup is staring us in the face. It's going to be a very exciting, fun game. Who knows? Could even be a Super Bowl preview. We'll see, but you're going with a touchdown call, and again, I think this was an absolute lock.
Yeah. As much as I hate the Eagles, A.J. Brown gets in the end zone. Eagles are really, really good with A.J. Brown in lineup. A.J. Brown is going to torch these outside receivers for the Ravens here, who they haven't made any moves, and it's probably because they don't have any moves to make. They don't really have another scheme. Like, at least, and that's where the issue is, where these coordinators get jobs and leave teams, and you're looking and see what the new coordinator is doing and how they fix these mistakes. And it just doesn't seem like they're doing anything to fix the secondary right now. Like, they're just content on the secondary being bad and hoping that Lamar Jackson and his offense can kind of bail them out. And so, nonetheless, if you're going to do that, that's fine. But A.J. Brown is 100% getting that touchdown. Like, that's just go ahead and chop A.J. Brown, Mike Evans. Those are two guys that you don't care about the matchup, whether it's good or bad. You're like, oh, yeah, they're probably going to find the end zone at some point. And so, yeah, I love a big A.J. Brown game. Believe it or not, A.J. Brown is also in, like, the top 10 of MVP votes right now in odds, I think. So, in terms of MVP odds. So, I think that this is a good spot. Saquon had a big game that they go through the air in this game, really, really attack that secondary for the Ravens, where I think the Ravens are going to be able to put up points on this Eagles defense, and the Eagles are going to have to respond. So, I love a huge game. I just put anytime touchdown here at plus 125, but I'm taking the yards too. I think this is a big A.J. Brown game.
All right, Erickson, your next bet here has to do with Kyler Murray, who did not look good the last time we saw him. I know the Seattle Seahawks defense played well, and they've played better in recent weeks for sure, but still, this was a very ugly performance for Kyler Murray. So he's heading into Minnesota to play the Vikings, a very unfriendly building with an unfriendly defense. So when it comes to the 29.5 passing attempts, you're taking the over. Let's talk about why.
Well, Kyler Murray's been over this number last week and in every single road game he's played this year, right? Kyler Murray has been one of the most toughest players to project in fantasy football because he has so many top 5 finishes and then so many outside the top 20 overall, where you get really good games and you get games like last week, like you said, Joe, where it's a total mess and you're pulling your hair out thinking, how can I ever start this guy again? And then he goes off the next week. So I am a little bit more optimistic about Kyler Murray in this particular matchup. Again, it's not great on paper, but the thing that I'm confident about is Minnesota's defense drives passing volume from their opponents. They're second in passes faced per game this season. And like I said, Murray, when he goes on the road, usually in games where they're facing negative game script, he's attempted 29.5 passing attempts in every single one. So I like pairing him with his tight end, Trey McBride. I like the over on his receiving yards because I think there's just going to be a lot of volume from Kyler Murray. I'm kind of staying away from the sides and totals in this game. I think it's a really weird matchup coming with two teams coming off divisional games. So I'm going to look at the pass attempts for Kyler Murray going over.
All right, so the over on Murray. We've got 2 more from the guys here, and then we'll get to the upset special of the week. Let's start with the Broncos here, Terrell. They are 5.5-point favorites in this contest, and who'd have thought we'd get here at this juncture in the season, and we'd feel so good about the Denver Broncos. But they are 7-5. They're a playoff team. I told everybody last week, bet them to make the playoffs because after they win this game last weekend, then it would be clear sailing. It was minus 120 at the time. Now forget it. It's way in the minus. So they've got the Cleveland Browns, who came off a very fun victory and some extra rest, but you're pretty confident Denver handles their business. Why is that?
Oh, because the only reason the Browns got that win is because they were oh so lucky. Oh, so lucky to get my boy Mike Tomlin as a favorite. Like that's just the fade right there. But now they go back on the road. This Browns defense home run splits over the last 2 years have been abysmal in terms of they can't stop anybody. They can't do anything. And every time I am disappointed in myself that I take the Browns on the road because I know they can't stop anything on the road. There's not a reason to do that. That is a team that you fade. Nonetheless, this Denver defense is really, really good. And again, Jameis, thank you for all the quotes that you have given over the past week. Thank you. I mean, I don't know if you're ever going to hear this, but you are a national treasure, and you should be protected. And I hope you're a New York Giant next year, just so I can have something to look forward to on Sundays.
So at least the mic'd up moments will be worth it. Certainly more entertaining than Daniel Jones. I think that we can all agree on that.
And then a couple of wins to go with it. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Nonetheless, when Jameis faces real defensive competition, yeah, he looks like Jameis without LASIK again. And there's some bad decisions. There's some times when he holds on to the football too long. There are reasons that you're like, oh yeah, this is why Jameis is not a starting quarterback anymore. But nonetheless, Broncos going to take advantage. Sean Payton, again, the coddling of Bo Nix this season is amazing. I mean, it's just like a nurturing mother. Hey, relax. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Give him a second. Let him make the throw. He's got it. Yay! Let's go, Bo! Yay, Bo! Yay! They are 100% covering 5.5 here. I think
it was a really good reenactment. I really enjoyed that. Just so you know. All right. Let's end things with an Erickson touchdown call. Where are you going for yours this week, Andrew?
Heading to MetLife Stadium, which is usually where points go to die. You really don't see like a lot of scoring in this, but in this particular matchup, I do
not
like
from the
Ken
home
Walker.
Teams at least.
I do like Ken Walker to find the end zone. We look at the Jets
Nice
defense. No defense has allowed a higher rate of rushing touchdowns versus passing touchdowns this year than Gangrene's defense. The Jets also rank second in terms of overall rush rate faced this year. So Ken Walker been kind of slow the last couple of weeks. Hasn't really broke off a lot of big runs, but I think he's going to find the end zone in a favorable matchup against the New York Jets, where the Seahawks are road favorites. So I like Walker.
All right, so Walker it is. That brings us to our upset special. So give me the New Orleans Saints at home, fresh off the bye. Yeah, that coach bounce seems to really be bouncing, continues to bounce. It's like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. It's just this never-ending bounce there. And you know what? There's something about the Saints team now just seems really free and happy and having a good time. And that's very dangerous. And I think the Rams are playing a little tight. You know, they got their ass kicked on prime time. And they're going to have Alvin Kamara, who's had a steady workload all season, run through them again. And on that note, I'm just very concerned here with the Rams kind of fading into oblivion. It's like you're kind of looking around like, does anybody want to win the NFC West? Does anybody want to win it? I would like to see somebody try. That being said, I think New Orleans can scratch out a victory here. I don't feel great about the Rams on the road, so I think that defense has played a little bit better. And look, now that you have Weapon X, Taysom Hill wrecking games too. I think you've got a good opportunity here for New Orleans to come up with a victory again, plus 128 on the money line. Let's put that together in the parlay of the week. Let's put that with the Bills in the snow against the San Francisco 49ers. You can lock that one up on the money line. And then the Seattle Seahawks as well on the money line too. We already talked about that one. Put those three things together, you get plus 425. That, my friends, is a good holiday Sunday. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel and download the BettingPros app too. Great to hang out with you guys. Hope everybody had a nice holiday weekend. And again, we are back to the grind next week as usual. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Terrell Furman and Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.